Uncover the wisdom of the feminine through soulful conversations on spirituality, healing, relationships, self-leadership, sovereignty, and so much more. I'm your host, Tamar, Gail, feminine embodiment facilitator, feminine arts mentor, and soul tantrika. In this podcast, my goal is to take you deeper into the world of the feminine, stepping more into your feminine pleasure, power, authentic truth, and your sovereignty. Welcome to the Feminine Codes podcast. Welcome back to the Feminine Codes podcast, and today I am with Paradis, who is a relationship coach, an NLP coach, educator of effective communication strategies, workshop leader, public speaker. He's also a two-time Amazon best-selling author and an ordained minister. Andre, you have traveled around the world to gather information about the interaction between women and men, and you use this in your line of work with your clients so that it helps them learn the art of communication, which I think is a really important topic. You've traveled and you've studied cultures and people, which are some of my favorite top passions. I would be an anthropologist or an archaeologist if it made money. Can you share with us a little bit about your findings in regards to the interaction between men and men and how this has shaped your work now with couples?
So if I go back a little bit, the reason why I got into this work is because I'm in the personal development since I was 23 years old, right? I'm in Los Angeles, right? There's a lot of people doing personal development stuff, a lot of options, but it's also a small community, which means you run into the same people over and over again. You know what I mean? So 16 years ago, in the work of, I was trying to get my life together, my business together, my blah, 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 right? I get invited by a workshop head to come to a workshop over the weekend, and she says, it's on me, it's free, just you want to come? I'm like, of course, I'm going to learn some stuff because my brain's like this. And then I ask, what is it? What's the workshop about, right? She goes, oh, it's called Understanding Women. Okay, so it's going to be cute. Now, because without arrogance, you have to say that I always attracted sweet, sweet women my whole life. I didn't do the stuff my friends did, ever. So I thought it was me. I thought I knew something. I'm artistic. I'm easygoing, right? So I got this. Oh God, I spent the weekend in a workshop. Okay, so I went in there thinking it's gonna be cute, and I walked into space, 400 women, 400 people in the space, men and women, and I'm like, oh, not cute. And what happened is, this guy has his ease of the ladies. What I can tell you is at the end of the workshop, my brain was all over the walls. I could not believe what I was learning. Like, we know we're different, but I mean, you don't understand. Like, we're like Mars and Venus is not big enough. Like, it's not far enough. It's two different galaxies. We're completely different, completely opposite in every way. The way we operate, how we process things, words, thoughts, feelings. Like it's not even close. It's insane, right? Now, what happened to me is that's the whole thing started is at the time I was married, 2 little kids, right? We're doing great. I'm not even looking for this. This is not part of my research. But I realized that day after the workshop that I knew nothing about women, which I thought was insane because I thought I knew something, right? I knew nothing about women, which also meant I knew nothing about my wife. And to me, that was a huge liability because all my siblings are divorced 2 and 3 times. Like, I have my wife, I have my kids, I have my life, everything's working. I'm not going to be a statistic because I didn't know this, right? What am I doing to her without, unbeknownst to me, because I'm a man, and she'll filter things, that will not be great for us, but I don't know I'm doing it, right? So that's to me, that's how it started 18 years ago. And I jumped in that first company to learn all their workshops. I became a workshop assistant after the fact because I want to be in the room to learn it again and better, right? Different teachers, different questions, different crowds. So the more I learned, the more I realized that there was more to learn. So 5 masters later, and my own research, this is what I got here, right? And the magic is really to decode how different we are, as opposed to how we're the same. And that's part of what I see in a culture. Culture says men and women are the same, right? Equality, equality, equality. So it became morphed into men and women are supposed to be the same. So she's supposed to be strong, independent, and powerful, and tough. And he's supposed to be sweet, sensitive, and vulnerable, and talk to his feelings. And that exactly what doesn't work. But people think it should work on paper, right? We empower women, we soften the men. Even it should work, and it doesn't. It's the worst thing that ever happened. So that's why I'm here to educate people about this. Why doesn't it work? Why are we struggling? Why are we fighting? Why are we miscommunicating? And because culturally, everything, if you follow the culture, it makes it pretty much impossible to be in healthy long-term relationship. It's all wrong.
Why in your findings and your experience as well, like why do you feel like love relationships are so difficult now?
Like I said, back in the days, our grandparents for millennia, men were hunters. They had their role. They were the provider protector, right? They went, got the meat. They would disappear for 3 days to chase whatever they needed to make the tribe survive. The women were the gatherers, and there's community in that. There's working together when the men are gone for safety, right? For the children, for the fire, for the berries, for the collecting, to go to the river to do the wash. So women who live in the community and work together, the back end of him, right? Hunter gatherer, but together, that's how we survive. This has been the model for millennia, right? So we always, up till the 60s, men have much clearer role, and so did women. But the feminist movement in the 60s told women, you're better than be a wife, and you can be independent, and you want to blah, and you want all the rights that men have. Okay, no, I'm cool with that, honestly. But what happened is now we disturb, the natural flow of where things pull at each other. So it's the masculine and feminine that pull together creates a dynamic that lasts. When you neutralize men and women, it's unsatisfying. There's no real connection. You don't know why you're there. It's kind of and it should be better, right? The women have all the choices. It doesn't work. So do you see it?
Yeah. And now we see there's a lot of belief on this like 50-50 relationship that seems to, yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, again, that's one of the things that's common knowledge, right? People think, relationships now, men and women is 50-50, right? So,
Now we have
and the
our
problem
freedom, right?
was that.
So now we have our freedom as women. We're so like
Well,
powerful.
yeah. So no man's going to tell me what to do, right? And that's just fine. But if you want to be a relationship with a man who's a masculine man,
Mm.
right, that's not going to work because he's going to hold himself accountable for your protection, for provision for the family, right? If you build a family, so the men are still expected to be traditional, provide, protect, cherish, give, support, lead, pay, right? Except we raised women since the 60s and 70s to refuse to be traditional, that you're better than to be some guy's slave, and kids will ruin your life. That's what's not working. So men's role has not changed. Women still want the traditional, provider, protector, but they want to be wives. No, they want to be married, but they don't want to be wives. So we took apart what used to work, modernized it, flipped it on its ear, and they go, look, it's better. And then people are like, well, it's chaos. It's not working. What the hell? And where are the men? Where are the women? Because they both complain about the same thing. Men are like, where are all the women, the lovely women? Where are the women who are feminine, who are lovely, who inspire us, who lifts our spirit? They're all disrespectful, butch, mean. So men are like, forget this crap, but they looking for women. The traditional men still want traditional women and traditional lifestyles and babies and legacy and all this stuff, right? And then so and women are like, where are all the men? Are like, well, you've been telling us for 60 years that we're in shit, because this is all. I mean, I hear this all the time, that we're toxic, dangerous. You can't trust us, right? And so you're better off without and protect yourself. Okay, so here we are. How's that going to work? You make half the planet the enemy, thanks to feminist system, right? Because that's the belief went too far. It started with good intention, but now it's like an anti-male system. And women are like, well, and guys are like, forget this stuff. Like men are like, and I'm a king of statistic, right? So you want some statistics that is disturbing?
Yes, I would.
As we speak right now, young men between the age of 18 and 30, 63% of them want nothing to do with women. They don't want to
Wow.
be with them. They don't want to date them. They don't want to spend any time around them. They're completely like disgusted.
Why?
They don't, because women are butch, women are masculine. They're condescending. They're disrespectful, right? One of my friends goes, he's a good guy, but he's a little guy. He's probably 5'5", right? So he goes to this girl. He was in place, whatever. He walks up to her, and before he said hello, she's like, "I don't date short guys." It's like, why do you have to be like that, right? So women are like happy to be this condescending and rude in the name of whatever, and there's a kind of a new pride in that. So women are being very disrespectful and discarding, and guys are like, right, I don't want nothing to do with this. Like, so young men, have just gotten the message. They want nothing. So, and then women are like, where are the men? They don't want to be around you. So there's a calibration that has to be adapted.
For sure. Yeah. What do you think about, like, let's say there are feminine women, like women who are really starting to embrace their femininity, learning how to speak to men, but then they find men who don't know how to hold, like, appreciate that in the women.
Right.
Have
So
you noticed that?
no, I guess so.
I see both. Like, I see that too. So what
All
happens
right, no,
there?
there's in my world there's four types of men, there's four types of women, and they're completely distinctive, right? So there are men who will never commit, the men who just want to play with you, they just want to take advantage of you, take your body, take your time, take your money. Those are boys. Boys who are men man child who refuse to grow up, and they're here to have some fun, be aloof, plan for nothing, and play with women. And they'll move into your house, they'll drive your car, borrow money, and you think, oh, he just needs a little help. No, he's a taker. So boys are takers, men are givers. So
Mm.
having a male in front of you does not mean you have a man, right? So that's the first thing I teach my ladies: which one to avoid. You have to avoid these guys because they're very seductive, they're very slick, they're very good in bed, they take care of their bodies, right? They know how to do it, right? They're the feminine energy towards a masculine woman, right? Who wants this handsome, tall, sexy, rock my world in bed kind of guy, but he will take, take, take from you everything, your time, your energy, your money, like everything, until you like completely disgusted and you throw him out. He's like, yeah, it was fun, see you later. Like, they don't care. So you have to know who you're dealing with, right? But I'm going to say this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Because nature, polarity, yin yang, right? The polarity is the gift of life, which means nothing can grow and flourish and multiplies until it's polarized. It's black and white. It's positive magnet, negative magnet, masculine, feminine, male, female, up, down, right? One cannot exist without the other, but they're opposite. So in nature, everything that multiplies is polarized, right? So masculine women, which we teach all of you guys to be boss babe, independent, and you can't trust men, right? So most women are raised nowadays for the past 30 years at the age of 5 forward to be masculine, go girl, boss, whatever, right? That turns out to be makes it masculine energy woman. This really nature, this nature right in your face, right? Masculine energy women only attract boys
Hmm.
because masculine men are not interested in masculine energy women. It's irritating to us, right? Like, you're trying to be like me, you're trying to fight with me, you're trying to compete with me, you're trying to tell me like you won't let me lead, right? That 50-50 comes in there, right? That 50-50 doesn't work because you can't name me one country with two kings. Doesn't exist.
It's
It's a king and a queen. They're different, right? And they come together on purpose. There's a system here that's natural. Name me any country or any company who has two presidents. No, president, vice president. So one has to be like the beacon, I want to say, like the leader, not dictatorship, partnership, right? Same. So in relationship 50-50, when you think we both have the same say, it's like having two pilots on a plane going for the wheel, and that's when the plane crashes. And that's what I see all day long. Relationships are crashing because we lost the polarity, and women
Mhm.
are attracting the masculine women are attracting soft boys, and they ruin their lives really quickly. It's terrible. And then one after the other, if you're not aware of your energy, you'll keep attracting those guys, and you think that's man, and you'll hate us, but that's not us. That's not men. That's boys. About a third of the population. It's pretty bad, but I mean, 70% are not, right? So, because again, like you said, women who are naturally feminine, right? Women who are naturally feminine
Right.
are off the market by 25 and are married between 29. Period. Because there's such a beacon of everything men want. They have plenty, men, men take them off the market right away. Off the market. So it's the older women who've been caught up in girl energy, boss energy, that by the time they get to the mid 30s, they realize they're tired, they're lonely, money doesn't make them happy, they're stressed out, they're overwhelmed, they're in debt, right? Life is difficult, it's no fun. They have no safety, no companionship, no man. And then that's when they come to me. Like, okay, so like I don't want this anymore. I want some help. I want a relationship. I want a man. I want to work less. Right, which comes with a partnership. But if you over calibrate in your masculine, you will not. You want to attract those masculine men. So you have to learn to tilt back, into your feminine. And in my world, a true boss is a woman who can be productive, because you have to nowadays, but not eliminate your femininity. So we recalibrate this, and the true boss is a woman who can do both. Know when to be boss, and the way I say it is, at the end of the day, leave your balls at work and show up in the world as a woman, because that's the only way real men are going to see you and be enchanted by that feminine, lovely, warm glow radiance. So that's the gig in a nutshell.
I have so many questions. Do you have any
Bring it, please.
do you have any suggestions, like a tip for women who find themselves in that position
Masculine
of,
position.
yes, of being so masculine that, or yeah, maybe attracting those boys, the
Yeah.
boy men, and they're really desiring to soften because they've been so much in their feminine
Right.
energy or their masculine energy
Yeah.
that they really want to soften, but they're having
They
a
don't
hard
feel
time.
safe. They don't feel
They don't,
safe, so they can't. If you don't
and they
feel
can't.
safe, okay, so it all starts in childhood. That's the
Mm,
psychological part of my work. That's how we release trauma from your nervous system. If as a little girl, so your daddy is your first love affair, and your mother is supposed to be a role model if things are in order. For the man, daddy is a role model, mom is a first love affair. So as a little girl, all my clients come from the same history: no daddy, bad daddy, alcoholic daddy, missing daddy, right? Not safe daddy, right? Or weak, right? Alcoholic. What happens is, without the daddy safety of the family, mama collapses into mama bear, because somebody has to provide and protect the kids, right? When mama bear is mama bear, the little girl role models after Butch, and that's what it's like to be a mom and a woman. You have to be masculine. You can't trust men. You have to fight, right? So energetically, she trains her daughters the role modeling of being masculine. And because daddy doesn't feel safe, or he's not even there, there's no safety, masculine safety over the household, the little girl emulates mom, but also is unable to grow into her natural femininity without the father present. So all my clients who are stuck in their masculine, they have a history of that. And the first thing I do with them with their work is to clean up and release the trauma from their nervous system. And because they can't trust men, they can't be vulnerable with men, right? Like they want to, but they can't. Like, they meet a nice guy, and then 3-4 months into it, she starts panicking, and she can't trust it, and he's got to be something wrong with him, and he's lying to me. And they've never felt safe with men because they didn't have a safe daddy, right? So that is a projection that continues until we clean it up. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. The same thing with feminine men, right? No daddy role model, and mom provided protect too much, castrated him in the process, made him sweet and soft, and talk through his feelings like she does. And these guys don't do anything in the world, like boys. That's why they take advantage of women, because they don't do it. They don't want to do it. Like, you're here to serve me, like mom did my whole life. And so there's always an injury in childhood, always, always. And it starts around 5 years old. And if you believe that you're not safe in the world as a little girl, you're never going to feel safe in the world. And you're going to find and keep attracting men who will make you feel unsafe in the world. And your nervous system go, see, you can't trust them. See, they're all the same. See, they're all jerks. See, they're all takers. No, it's you attracting those guys, not understanding that your subconscious is driving, not you. Oh, just went off, didn't I?
I love it. um, So speaking of this, you said that men in
Mhm.
commitment is not what we think it is.
Yeah.
Is that I may have that I've said it
Well,
wrong.
the way I say it is, women don't understand commitment. Men do. What?
Hmm.
What? What?
Can you
Right?
explain
Because
that?
women think, especially masculine women who are attracting boys, that men don't want to commit. They just want to play around. They just want your body. They don't want to
Mm,
take care of you. Right? That's boys. That's not men. First of all,
right.
distinction number one. But the idea that men aren't committable is as silly as me saying, I don't know, something ridiculous, right? Because get this, as a male brain, accountability is the go-to regularly, right? And so, in order to be accountable to do life, I have to commit to every bit, moment to moment, right? In order for me to get out of bed at 6 in the morning, I have to be committed to that because there's a reason, right?
Mm,
And so we commit with every single moments of our lives into being accountable. And so there's a commitment. Like I can't turn around without committing to it first. You understand? So it's that
yeah.
deep. So for men, commitment is natural, right? It's natural. Now, committed to a woman is a whole other calibration because we all know that a good woman will make a great life and a bad one will ruin your life and destroy you. So men will be careful with who they merge with that way because the quality of their lives may be destroyed with the wrong woman. So men will walk slowly, get to know you for a year and a half, 2 years, and typically over the period nowadays is a little bit over 2 years. They realize he's seen her in all the adversity of life, how she lives, how she fights when we have disagreement. Is she fair? Is she vicious? Does she go over the top? Does she try to crush him? Right. So as we experience life together, right, when there's no deal breaker, men are ready to commit. Now,
Mm,
women, ladies don't understand any of that. Like, you don't know what men commit to. You don't know why. Why do the men commit? You don't know. You don't even know how
why
men date. What's
not?
that?
Why? What does make a man commit to
There's I
that?
have I have a document with 10 things you have to be for a man to slowly step into commitment.
Okay.
It's not, and for men, it's not a thought process. It's a kind of a like subliminal checklist. Oh,
Hmm.
because for men, you understand, masculine men again, not boys. Masculine men are very binary. You're a yes or you're a no. You're in or you're out. Yeah, right? I choose you or I reject you, right? So there's no gray area for men. Women are all about the gray area. Well, let's give him a chance. We don't do that. So I have my men. I teach them. They go on a date, and I go, "Get this. It's so subtle and it's huge at the same time." How'd it go? Oh, she was lovely, but she was nice, but
Hmm.
right. We tap into your energy so much that if you're too masculine, if you're too don't want to waste your time, you approach him like this on a date. He's like, so it's so subtle, but we plug into you so fast, right? So, like I said, men can explain necessarily the process of committing, but it happens organically with a checklist of experienced life with this woman. And when you realize she's a good one, she's fair, she gets him, she's not trying to change him, she's not mothering him, she's not telling him what to do, she doesn't micromanage him, all the things that we hate, and it's very disrespectful, by the way. When those things are like, okay, this is who she is, you know, get on one knee, commit to her, start a family, because men, traditional men, they want to be married, they want to have kids, they want to leave a legacy, they want to build a kingdom, put their arms around and go, look what I did,
Hmm.
right? That's natural males, and our role has never changed. So understanding that, right? If you ladies don't know how men date, men are very specifically know what they're looking for, sitting across from a lady across the table. They can't really explain it. That can do yes or no, right? I'll teach you, but you just sit there like hoping he's a good guy, and hoping the eyeliner is fine or the lipstick is like. It's not that for us. It's none of that for us, right? Hoping is a good guy, hoping he wants to commit. Maybe he's the one. That's ridiculous. That's not how you date. That's why people hate it, right? Because it's like, no, no. Understand the four types of men. Attract the ones who want the life of traditional, like, provide, protect, cherish. That's what you want, right?
Hmm.
What do these guys want? How do you attract one of those guys? And you ladies in your boss energy, none of that's working. And you're like, I have everything. How many times did I hear this? I'm young, I have money, I have career, I make 6 figures, I have a house, I have a car, I have no trouble. How come nobody wants to date me? You're walking around with your balls out and you think that's attractive, right? And that's not. So, man, the problem that I see is that women think that men value them for what women value in men: experience, swag, money, resources, right? So when women build their lives up, thinking, look, I have everything, I'm no trouble, and wow, I'm amazing, right? Like, I have the bag, I figured it out, I'm independent, and the real man that you want, because then you'll attract boys 100 miles an hour, but the one that you want, they're like, so,
Yeah.
and I have my own career, I have my own money. That's not, I don't need a woman to bring that to me. I need a woman who believes in me, supports my effort, becomes my, they call it, men call it ally, or like uh, um, first mate. They want a first mate, somebody to dance together with, to build together with, right? But in his masculine with her feminine. You know, a woman could blow sail, like she could blow wind in his sails to become bigger than he could even imagine, right? But masculine women, instead of blowing wind in his sails, they blow wind in his face. And men go, nope, absolutely not. But women are like, I don't understand. I have everything. I'm pretty. I have money. Why don't you love me, right? These women cannot get a date. And if you get a date, they get ghosted. They can't get a second one. Why? I says, you're too masculine. Masculine men, the guys you want, don't want that. Not even a little bit. So how do you recalibrate your femininity? Blah, blah, blah. So did I just go off again?
No, you didn't. And I had three different questions as you were talking, and I was
Cool.
trying to figure out which direction to go in. But I think you just answered one of them, which was what women actually do and to keep the men from providing, protecting, and caring for them. Like what is that quality? But I think you just answered it. So
I mean,
is there
how did you
anything else you want
understand it?
to add?
Well, tell me what you understood, and I'll see if there's a gap.
It's the masculine energy. It's the like trying to do it all yourself. It's I have all of this and being that boss babe and then not letting him step forward
Right.
so that he
That's it.
can. So you're attracting the opposite. You're attracting the boys instead of the
The man.
masculine men that would provide, protect, and care the way that
Right.
you want them to.
And by the way, men provide, protect, cherish, give, support, lead, and pay naturally without manipulation. The
Hmm.
only need that things that we need to bring that forth and become your heroes is we want a feminine, lovely, warm, radiant woman. Your femininity is your superpower. It's not weak like the culture is teaching you, right? Like it's your superpower. It could bring us to our knees with it. But you guys put it all behind you. You step into boss babe, masculine energy. Masculine men aren't interested in masculine energy women. You're combative, you're resistant, you're not cooperative, right? Everything we don't like, everything you don't like about us, you become and think somehow it shouldn't affect us. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Oh my goodness. Good question.
So, one of the other directions that I was thinking about going with that, you mentioned like that we don't really understand how men date. And I happen to know that, especially where I live, there's a lot of single women who are looking for a good man. And I can see like a lot of these qualities within them as well. But I'm curious as to the way that men date, if they're not choosing the possibly within a year or a year and a half or
Uh-huh.
2 years,
Uh-huh.
they're not really making that commitment to one woman. If a woman is experiencing a man like in a relationship and he's telling her like, look, it's just you and I, but then he's out like dating other women, is that a masculine man or is that like a normal thing for a man?
Well, so, okay, a couple of things here. So, it is normal for a male to date multiple women when they're looking for the one. Now, some
Right.
aren't looking for the one, they just want to mess around and play with you, right? The players, right? And the guys on the very top, the 10% of men that you all want, six pack, six figures, 6 feet tall, right? Black BMW, sense of humor. Well, these guys have all the options in the world, so they don't tend to commit very well. Why would they? Because 80% of women want these guys. So that's why the other ones, like I told the statistic, right? The 18 to 30, they're done because they're not even women on women's radar. They're completely invisible, right? So Women want the top percent, the 10%. These guys have all the options in the world. Why would he commit? Why would he, right? They have 4, 5, 6 girlfriends. They fly around the world, you know, and that's working for them, right? So that's not traditional, right? Because some guys, and one of my clients married a guy who's a big baller here in Los Angeles, and he was traditional, even though he was loaded, and he had given up. He's 50 years old when they got married. He had given up on finding a woman in Los Angeles because they were gold diggers. They didn't want to be wives and mothers. They wanted to be free and him pay for everything, but let her be with her girlfriends and go on girl trips. And he's like, hell no. Who's going to stand up for that, right? That's ridiculous. Again, another mistake women make. If you want the provision of a man, you got to get into his frame. And if you won't get into his frame, he'll play with you and dump you. You know what I mean? My point is, even rich guys will commit, depending of their personality. Like I said, the younger, but men date multiple women until they find the lady. There's a commit, like, and there's a 4 seasons of growing a relationship. And most people understanding none of that will screw it up by skipping a section or not investigating enough. There's a whole topic on that. If you get me going, it's gonna be long. But it's like, seriously, like nature has cycles, days, weeks, months, seasons. Right? It takes a full year to kind of get to know who you're with. So after a year, you've been through the 4 seasons, and men will do it again just to make sure. And then they want to commit. Just saying.
Interesting.
It's very interesting.
Men
but then,
so
but it's,
different.
what's that?
So we're so
2 different galaxies. It's not even 2 different planets. It's just, in the simple way to do it and to explain it is, whatever you are and everything that comes to with being feminine, we're not. Exact opposite, which just makes things difficult, right? We don't talk the same. We don't process information, feelings, thoughts the same. Women are typically emotional and about their feelings, which is normal, but we don't understand that at all because we come from logic and order. So we try to bring you order and logic to a world of emotions and feelings. And we're like, why do you take that personally? Why do you feel that way? That's not what I said. That's not what I meant. What are you doing? So men see women as indulging in their feelings too much and being too erratic, and they need to be more steady. That's how we are, right? So again, just whatever you are, expect the exact opposite on the other side that's more normal. And the gig is, how do you come dancing together? You have to, instead of trying to change each other, how do you come together with your differences, understand them, embrace them, and work with them? And these are the relationships that flourish. This is what I teach. It's not that hard, by the way. It's just you have to get it. He's never going to be your girlfriend, and men are interested in masculine women. Ta-da.
How do you build a healthy, fulfilling long-term relationship? Like, are there steps? There's like, I think everyone wants to know, like, they want a healthy relationship, but not everyone knows how to create one.
Absolutely. Well, most of us did not have, say that again?
Men and women.
No, absolutely. But most of us come from, terrible family systems. You know how rare it is to find somebody who had a good mom and dad that was supportive and loving and kind, right?
True.
Like, it's very, very rare because your parents had their injuries from their family, from their, and they graduate. So it's generational stuff, right? So we don't understand it either. So, like, the disconnect there is intense, but most of us were not raised in systems that encourage relationship dynamics and communication and the things that actually help and work. There's conflicts, there's tension, there's abuse, neglect, abandonment issues as a child. So if you, again, at 5 years old, when you believe you're not good enough, you're not lovable, men are dangerous, the world is a terrible place, right? This is your primary programming on your hard drive. You could keep adding some apps on top of this and information. The hard drive is driving. So this is what most of us, with the drama that we don't understand, that we forgot about, is driving us, and we don't know. So building a healthy relationship when you came from a shitty family, on whichever level, right? It's difficult. So the people who do it have less trauma if they do it naturally. The rest have to really clean it up and then learn, right? Didn't have father to feel safe with, don't understand masculinity, don't respect it, right? Can be vulnerable, they resist it, they fight with it, they want to go 50-50, And this is actually what doesn't work. Like, so you have to relearn on some level, release your trauma, and really re-experience something that you didn't have as a little girl, the protectiveness of masculine energy. Provide, protect naturally, right? So men want to be heroes. Men want to be you to be good. Men will protect you all over the place naturally. If your car breaks down on the freeways, a woman won't pull over. That would be putting herself in danger. It could be a trap, right? She'll just drive. She don't care. The guy's going to stop and just to see if he could help. And right behind the first guy, there's a second guy just to make sure that guy is not a douchebag, a boy, right? Who could take advantage of her. That's man, right? No manipulation needed. We instinctively provide, protect all ladies, children, anybody who's weak needs help. That's the natural masculinity. So if you've never experienced that as a little girl, it's foreign. It's like you don't know how it works. You don't know what to do with it, and you resist it, and you become combative, uncooperative, 50-50, right? And I'm as strong as he is. Well, yeah, but the man that you want won't stand for it for a second. So how do you relearn the safety with masculinity as an adult, right? And how do
Right.
you really see the hero in man? Is we start small, so you you know then you go, oh wow, that worked. Well, yeah, it's a man. Well, how did that work? He's a man. Oh, how does it work? He's just a man. That's how they respond to, right? And they do this, and he was, oh, what? And my favorite is women would say to me like, you know, started dating a guy, 3-4 days, right? And I go, this is going to happen. If you do this, he's going to do this. If you do this, it's going to respond like this, right? How many times I get this? Like, we're on a weekly call, right? So the week after the date, I go, how'd it go? It's happened like a dozen times. They're like, you know, if I find out that you paid him off, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, why do you say this? She goes, he did exactly what you said he was going to do. He said exactly those words. I'm like, yeah, he's a man. He's very predictable, right? But she's like, right? Like, you have to pay him off. He said, no, he's a man. I'm a man. I can teach him, right? So, so how do you slowly regain confidence, understanding men are heroes, want to provide and protect, not the boys again. You have to avoid the boys, and you have to know how to avoid the boys. But the rest of men, the one you want, just wait for you to let them be heroes. And if you won't let them be heroes because of injuries, they find somebody else to be a hero to. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I see it. You see it. It's
I
both
do see it.
simple, beautiful, and tragic.
I do see it. Oh
How's your
boy.
brain? I had a workshop this weekend live in Los Angeles. I do those every couple of months, right? And we actually do use dancing as a frame for dynamics. It's
Really?
magical, right? And then I do a lecture part of the event as well. So with physical and lecture, and back to physical and a practice, right? It's incredible. Even if I say so myself, but you should see like these were all newbies except for one, right? Eyes like the whole time like we're taking notes. And I go, you guys need a moment? Yeah, hold on. Wait, so are you saying da 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 da, right? But I mean, like that's what's happening to you right now. Like, like
I know.
boom,
I'm
right?
gonna take notes.
So it is. It's because nobody talks about this stuff. The culture doesn't talk about this stuff. We don't understand the dynamic. So again, everything I'm teaching is nature, science, biology, anthropology, and psychology.
Mm-hmm.
All the pieces you have to understand dynamic with men and women. And when you decode that, you understand, huh, not that hard. Every one of my clients on the other side of a program, they go, wow, it's so easy. I get it now. Nobody's ever taught us. I'm like, no, sorry. But you're here. Good for you.
I am curious about two things actually from that culturally, because I know that you've
Mm-hmm.
studied across cultures. How does our cultural beliefs affect our relationships, like our romantic relationships? Does
Well,
it
again,
change? I mean, my ex-husband is French, so I kind of have had that
it's French.
experience of, yeah, my ex-husband's.
I'm French. I'm French.
Are you really? Yes, he's French. I lived
André
in France.
Paradis. I'm so French. I'm so French. My first
So,
language.
yes. So, and I understand the cultural, there can be some cultural differences,
Yeah.
maybe more with some cultures than others. But what has been your experience with that?
Well, so it's interesting, and nobody's going to like to hear this. I'm just going to say this. It's just how the world has been working since the beginning of times is that European women, seemingly, right, um, do not divorce their husband because he had an indiscretion.
Mm.
Here they do. Get out of here. You know what I mean? They destroy the family, because he had indiscretion, and the rest of the world seems to understand that's a little bit over the top. Even therapists will teach you an affair is no reason to throw the whole marriage and the family down the toilet, right? What happened? How do we get here? How do we miscommunicate? How we start? What pulled us apart, right? So it's more the beginning of a new conversation than an end. They understand that in Europe somehow, right? And if you understand the marriage contract, again, nobody talks about this, and it's just a contract, right? The man signs up to provide, protect, cherish, give support his wife, his kids, the system to keep him safe, right? To make money to keep them all alive. In exchange, right? In exchange, he stops playing around with stops dating other women, right? And his wife, who's going to raise his kids and help him with, whatever, right? So he lays down the sexuality for regular access to sex with the woman he marries. That's the contract.
Mm.
So he'll be the man to provide and protect, right? She'll do the feminine part and the childbearing part, right? And be available to him sexually because men are very, very sexual. And this is one of the ways we get grounded, right? So that's the contract. So, but when people get older, often the woman doesn't want to sleep with him anymore. Nobody interested in that anymore, right? Blah, 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 blah. But he's still a man. So I guess what I'm saying is in Europe, an indiscretion is kind of like, well, I don't really want to sleep with him. And as long as he doesn't bring home disease or pregnancy or, right, not a lifestyle, just sort of like, okay, 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 kind of thing. It's sort of like, but in our culture, one indiscretion and destroy the family. And that's too much.
Mm.
That's also doesn't work. So again, in the therapy work, the world is it's not a reason to throw everything down. It's a reason to find out how do we get here. And miscommunication, hurt feelings, right? Because it's not the big stuff. It's not the affairs that kill us. It's the 10 years of misunderstanding that pulls apart. And then somebody's like, enough of this. Now, when that happens, as terrifying and devastating as it can be for both men and women, if you still want, like, this is my favorite part, if you like things happen and now you've fallen apart, then like now we have to decide what we're done here, kind of thing. But in the end, people who are invested, have kids, have a family, been together 10, 15 years, right? If they still want to be there, it just they got derailed, right? We can start over again. This is my favorite thing to do. So most of us have, in our culture right now, people that have 10, 15 years relationship, they break up, they start with somebody else, 10, 15 years, they break up, right? 10, 15 years. So most of us have three long-term relationships in our lives. I suggest having three relationships with the same person.
Mm.
Because we do grow apart. We do change every decades, right? What's interesting at 20 is not so much at 30, ridiculous at 50 for both men and women. So there's changes in our beings and our value system. You know what I mean? So sometimes life will pull us apart, but if we're in it for good, for the kids, for us to stay, keep the marriage, keep the legacy, we renegotiate the terms of engagement, clean up the stuff that was never clean. I give them tools of how to do conflict resolution respectfully, so you actually can talk about something and resolve it, as opposed to take your corner and being angry. Again, that's the pulling, right? So new tools to negotiate. Now, you don't want to lose, right? You both want to start again. Now there's a different energy. I get them to start dating again, like when they first met, and create a new, I call them new terms of engagement. How do you like relate to each other, and then differently from a place of, okay, we derail, but now we want to do it again, right? And often 10, 15 years later, there's another pull apart, right? But they want to come back. So it's magical. It's simpler than you think. But it's, again, I always say it's what we don't know that kills us. Like, it's what we don't know how to negotiate our wants and needs. We don't know how to do conflict resolution without yelling. That's what destroys. Like, like it's what you don't know that kills you. And in the end, it's your life. And the worst thing you can do to your children, and the worst thing for your heart, is a divorce. It
And what would you
destroys
say?
everything.
a lot of my listeners are probably mostly based here in the U.S. And so, if that's the case, and let's say a woman loses trust, or a
Yep,
man, because it can go both ways. So, a woman or a
absolutely,
man
absolutely.
loses trust in the other person because of lying, or infidelity, but lying with the infidelity.
Yep.
Like, how do you get past? How do you suggest that someone gets through that? Because I think both people would need to want to work on it, like
That's
want
what I'm
to do
saying.
the work to get past it. Because if
Yeah.
someone isn't willing to work on their stuff, then I don't know how that would work
Yeah.
out. I
No,
think
it
you
would.
have to be
Yeah.
willing.
Yeah. So, like I said, when this happens and somebody had indiscretion, right? Like, we want to save this? And if one
Mhm.
person is like, "I'm done with this. I'm just not, I'm angry. I'm done." See ya.
But what
Right?
if
What I'm
both want
suggesting
to?
is when they both want to, that's what we renegotiate and restart everything. Is that the
But
question?
what if both want to work on it, but it's like an ego thing that they don't think that they have anything to work on?
Well, that's how we got there in the first place, right? That's Houston. That's the problem. Like, we may have temperamentally differences that are resolvable, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's such thing as deal breakers. If the guy, if it takes conversation, it takes conflict resolution, it takes negotiation for the system to work. Your wants and needs, and I don't like this, and maybe how about maybe adjusting it a little bit. This I like more of this. I'll give you this. Like, there's all of that in between all this, right? So, but if temperamentally, if somebody's narcissistic, you can't. They don't negotiate. They want to
Mm.
win. They step on you. They make you wrong when you're trying to ask for correction a little bit, right? There's nothing to do with that. Walk away, run now. You know what I mean? And often women will find themselves with narcissist boys. It takes them 10 years to get the strength to get away from them, but get the hell away from them. Understand what you were dealing with, and all the mind screwing that he did was for control. He's a 10 and you're a 0, right? That's toxic,
Mm.
narcissistic psychopath. They exist, right?
Yeah.
So, temperament. Somebody who's not willing to negotiate, make a deal, revamp, the new terms of engagement, and agree to that. So we stay together. Bye bye. See ya. It won't work. It'll never work. It's a waste of your efforts.
Hmm.
You see it?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Very, very good point. I think we need someone like you to guide us through those things. I mean, for me, I as an American married had been married to a Frenchman. It's
Yep.
definitely we're different in that in
Mm-hmm.
that sense. Infidelity, like I can see what you're talking about. We do walk away really quickly in the U.S., whereas they don't. And
Yep.
I saw that. That's really,
They don't. They really don't. They really, really don't.
yeah. I was
You
always
know.
curious about that. Like,
Yep.
why?
Yep.
Why do you do that? Yeah.
And yeah. So
Interesting.
it's interesting. So there's a reason for that, right? Here we've been propaganda. What's the damn word? The propaganda of men are dangerous and toxic. You can't trust them. And the
Mm-hmm.
moment they show you through, you jump. Right? That's not normal. That is not normal. It's in the agenda of destroying the family system. You
Mm-hmm.
destroy the family system, you destroy culture, and you can control them. That's what's happening. Now, I'm getting political, but that's what's happening. Because at one point, as I was doing this work, maybe around 10 years ago, like watching the decline, women being masculine, men being feminine, like what,
Yes.
like all of it is so unnatural, right? It's so like, how do we, what, okay, there's an agenda, right? They're pushing for this to this, men against women, black against white, Christian against Muslim, gay against straight, right? It's separation and fear. That's the agenda out there. So we're here not by accident. And so I say, you have a choice. If you get it, that you want to be a statistic, go right for it. I'm teaching you to do what works more naturally.
Mm-hmm.
If you want that, come and get it.
Yeah, the agenda is so fascinating to watch how it's played out with, and the masculinity or the lack of masculinity also, I think
Well,
is,
because we shame man out of their masculinity.
yeah.
We empower women to their strength, which is masculine, and we push men down and shame them out of their strength. Again, thinking it's going to be even playing field. So women are like, how come the guys are so? Because, right? We shame them out of the masculine. And so I have to, the men that I work with, I re-empower them, right? Because that's the only way that women will respect them. Like, do something with your life. Take the lead, push through your fears, build your freaking character, right? Which gives you confidence. You'll get some success. And you'll be a guy who could look at a woman and go, like, women, men, and the society respects a man who's out to do something difficult. The more difficult, the more respect, right? Look at him go. It's amazing. That makes a man sexy to a woman. So I teach young men, get to work, whip it, fight, push. You can't just be a nice guy. That won't work. That doesn't make a woman feel safe. We shame men out of being masculine, and it destroys the relationships because women don't feel safe. We empower women to a point they're too masculine, and the masculine men want nothing to do with it. Congratulations, we screwed the whole thing up. Welcome to America. But it's the Western world. It's the Western world, really.
It is.
And again, my mission in life is to recalibrate this whole thing. I want to teach this to the masses, but people to understand, like each one of my clients, wow, we just didn't know. It's not that hard. It makes so much sense. And I'm so much better in my feminine energy, and he's so much better when I encourage his masculine energy, and he takes care of me. He goes beyond and over. It's a man, right?
Do you think that a woman can give too much encouragement? And like, a friend of mine, we're just having this conversation. She said something about this. It's like you build them up so much that they then believe so highly of themselves that they don't provide, protect. I can't remember what she was saying. It's like then they think that, or they go out and they have an affair because now their ego is so blown
right.
up.
That's a boy. That's a boy.
Okay.
That's a boy still. It's all the same thing, because a man, when you blow wind in his sail, instead of blowing wind in his face, will conquer the world to give it to you. He will kill himself for you to be happy, for you to be relaxed, right? Because you know what? The natural male instinct is, I'll kill myself to keep her comfortable, because when she's comfortable, she's good. And when she's good, I'm good. When she's happy, I'm happy. When she is at peace, I'm at peace. That's all we want.
Yeah.
But you have to understand what magnetizes us to you, and it's not your balls, it's your feminine radiance, lovely warmth that we crave. It inspires us, and again, it'll make us go conquer the world. It's your superpower. It's not weak, it's your superpower, but you've been shamed out of that. And here we are. Congratulations. We really messed it up. Anyway, my job is to undo it.
I love that mission. I think that's such an important mission.
I'm starting to teach in high schools now, because everybody's like, how come we didn't learn that in school? I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Very smart. And I think the younger kids, they're really needing this. I see a lot of the younger generation, they don't want to be with somebody. They don't understand the opposite. They're not communicating.
Yep.
There's a lot that's
and I think the biggest injury, we talk about childhood injuries. My generation, maybe yours, most everybody resented their fathers, boys and girls, because he was never there. He was working 12-hour days. Mom was there, right? But they disconnected from dad, not understanding life, and the challenge of raising 5 kids or whatever, right? So he's working like a dog. When he comes home, he's exhausted. He sits in a chair, falls asleep, has a drink, right? Like he's not present, he's not there, even though it takes care of the system, right? So boys feel abandoned by their dad, girls feel abandoned by their dad. You know what I mean? But now, because women are going to work first, they're supposed to be independent. They don't want to be depending on a man. Now, both parents work. And there's a myth about that. People are like, we have to. No, you don't. There's a whole myth around that. I'm not going to go there. My point is, what happens to children when dad has been missing because he has to go to work, and now mom is missing at the age of 3 months, put the kids in daycare, right? Understand this. Babies, toddlers, young kids in daycare more than 20 hours a week experience a trauma as the same as being abandoned, like an orphan. Dad isn't here to bond with, and mom isn't here to bond with. Like, so they're anxious, right? Whoever protects, provides for them, like at the daycare or whatever, the school, these people rotate all the time. So they try to bond to somebody, but they lose them. They bond to them when they lose them, right? Mom and dad weren't there, are not there, right? So they can't. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Did you feel that? You felt that, right? It's devastating. I know. right inside, right in the gut. It's crushing. So these kids are not being claimed by their own parents, and the world isn't claiming them either. So they become very anxious in relationships. They don't know how to build relationships. They don't know how to bond with people. Mom and dad are missing. Nobody ever cared for them. That's what it feels like. They're abandoned. So they can't create healthy relationship. They don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? And then no marriages, which means they can't create healthy relationship to have the healthy children to continue. Right. So this is how we kill a system.
Mm, mm,
These poor kids, it's not their fault, right? I
it's
have
not.
a client, whose sister put her baby 8 weeks in daycare. She went back to work. I'm like, and we have a statistic coming up. Now, yeah, I'm just saying, right? And I know people will say, well, it's not always that. Sometimes you have to, blah, blah, blah. I get it, right? But I'm talking, this is a standard go-to normal, that daycare is the right place for the kids. As long as they're safe physically, they'll be fine. Not
Mm.
true. They need to bond with their parents, at least one. Otherwise, they're never
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that makes
That's a
so much
huge trauma on them.
trauma.
I'm sorry. I know, but I didn't mean to bum you out. But
No, but it's so true. It just hurts my heart for these,
I
for
know. It's
everybody,
terrible. It's
for
terrible.
everyone.
And people don't understand. They're just doing what they think they're supposed to do because everybody else does it.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, if you want to, but know the price you're gonna pay for that
Mhm.
one way or the other. I promise.
My sister's been able to stay home with her 4 kids,
Fantastic,
because they had
fantastic.
4. And so, yeah, she was one that wanted to work. She wanted to build,
Yeah.
she was a teacher. But after the second one, I guess after the first, she started to just stay home with the babies. And oh my gosh, like I'm so happy for her and the kids. I mean,
No
they're so
kidding. No
talented.
kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
mean
great.
that's how you raise healthy children. You have to be there. You have to connect with them. You have to see them, talk to them, touch them, hug them. Like it's not enough to feed
Yeah,
them.
yeah. That connection is so important, and
Yeah,
it makes so much sense that it's how we relate to the other person in relationship later in life.
yeah. It's again, it's tragic, but then it's fixable. It's all fixable. You have to do the work in the trauma release and learn how nature works better. Because again, I'm teaching is nature and biology, science, anthropology, and psychology. But our brain is the plasticity of our brain is incredible.
Mhm.
We just discovered that about 15 years ago. That we thought, you are like you are at the age of 25, and that's who you are. No, you could actually change the wiring of your brain completely, step away from the trauma, build healthy habits to get towards the life that you want. I mean, so it's just doing the work. So you can be traumatized. It's not the end.
Right,
It's the
right.
beginning, really.
It's just doing the work. You teach your clients to, I know you mentioned about like masculine and feminine energies,
Yeah.
but also within, right? And you teach them
So
to balance their own masculine and feminine energy so that they
yes,
can get the life, like the love kind of
yes.
relationships that they really want. What does that look like in your work?
Well, you understand we have both masculine and feminine. It's a fact, right? Left
Yeah.
brain is all linear masculine, you know, like plan, you know, linear planning, plotting, like just planning life, and so that's all left brain. But I also have a right brain, which is my feminine side, the creative side, the writer in me. Right, we both have both, but most of us drive with one more than the other. So masculine men drive with their left brain most of the time, and sometimes we're here. And again, when we're watching TV, there's nothing to produce. We're kind of in our, the right lobe, but that's the creative feminine side and the just be as opposed to do side. We both have both. So healthy masculine man is linear and logical and creates order and structure for the system to continue working so we all survive. But he also has to have sex with this sometimes to be able to connect with his wife and his kids, right? I call it daddy energy. So that's a good balance, but you can't be in the middle. It's confusing everybody. And if you're too soft, right, as a man, you can't produce, you can't provide. Women don't want you because you're not safe, you can't help. So the balance is mostly masculine with some sensitivities of your feminine side. For the ladies, a better life lined up with your body and your essence is mostly feminine, and you still have to work. You have to do logistical stuff. You have to learn to drive a car. These are all things that are masculine or you have to learn. Right? But you're better off when you live into your feelings and being as opposed to doing and forcing order. And all this stuff is competitive and it's stressful. So you're better living in your feminine essence more, though we both have both. But how do you balance that for yourself? Too much on the opposite creates chaos and confusion for anybody who wants to be in a relationship with you.
That makes sense. And you've obviously, like, you see the difference between, like, after you've worked with someone, like, once they've kind of mastered this.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Like I have one of my, so I don't know if you know this. I'm an ordained minister, so some of my clients I married them myself. I just did two last summer. I flew to Texas and flew to Vegas for another couple, about a month apart. But the lady in Texas, God, she was, oh my God, neglected, abused, and abandoned in like the ways you can't imagine, and sexual abuse on top of it, and over and over and over, right? So her access to her femininity was eliminated as a little girl, right? She never felt safe. And then, of course, her parents divorced and remarried, and that was one of the abuse. And then divorce, complete chaos. Poor little thing, right? So, about close to 50 years old, completely masculine, right? Attracting boys, attracting boys, attracting boys, who put everything on there. Anyway, so she comes to one of my live events on Zoom, right? It was a 2-day event, and she cried the whole time. My face was wet the whole time because as I'm speaking, she recognized she was with the boy. She recognized how she got to be like this, what's the problem, and why she's struggling. And always alone in the world because those guys don't support, right? So married 4 times, I think, at that point, failure. But again, from her childhood, it's explainable. My point is now, this woman, I flew to Texas and I married them. She met him a year after the program. And a year after that, he got on one knee. And she's like, you're the reason why I found myself a man. And so I want you to come and marry us. So we flew to Texas to do it. But she only attracted boys and ended up doing the work, releasing her trauma and learning what a man is, what it looks like, Anyway, so she found herself a man because she understood energetically how to be feminine to attract a masculine man. Beautiful stuff, big. You just have to do it. I'm very proud of that, but that's what I do. Like I show off all the time. All I want to do is those weddings. It's kind of proof that it's working. You know what I mean? But to me, it's also a huge honor. It's a huge honor to put somebody together in matrimony under God, where there's something they didn't really believe they could do. You know what I mean? I mean, God, that's amazing. So that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do.
Well, congratulations to her and that new life.
I know, and there's many. There are many of them.
Beautiful.
I have one lady who came at me at 67, married at 69. Again, amazing. Women think, I'm old, so men don't. Bullshit.
Age doesn't matter.
And actually older men don't want to be lonely. They want the companionship more than they ever have in lives. So the idea of you're too old because men want younger girls, that's really silly. That's really, really silly. And again, that's knowing nothing about men. And that's the part you have to learn. As opposed to what's been pushed in your face that you believe is true because it's been pushing you. Bullshit. You know how often I call bullshit? I call bullshit left and right all day long with the things that people believe that are false.
It's great. Cut them out. Cut it out. Cut out the false. And,
because it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in fear typically and unable to flourish in the life that you want. Ouch. No. Anyway, those are really good questions, though.
I do have one more.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite practice or exercise or date night idea that you like to recommend or do with your wife that creates deeper bonding and intimacy?
Good one. Now, there's many, many layers here of how to, right? But the way I do it with my wife, so get statistics again, right? Simply said, as a couple, you need to keep dating and spend 90 minutes a week, 90 minutes, an hour and a half. That's all you need. Spend 90 minutes a week looking at each other's face, sitting at a table, having lunch, dinner, whatever, a date, right? And check in. So, how we doing? How's your week? Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty rough. Like reconnecting, because if you don't take the time to do this, right? The kids, the work, life will all get in your way, and that's how people slip away. So for my wife, because I understand masculine leadership and she loves it, right? On Sundays we take a private salsa class or tango class. So it's me and her together with our teacher for an hour and a half. That's how we met. That's how we bond through dancing, right? And then we go for a date, right? So we spend literally 4 hours together, dancing together, and then
Mm.
reconnecting. And when it comes time to, surprise her, because it's really, really fun to do, and men love that, right? I'll say to her, okay, so Saturday night, 6:30 we leave. I give her the level of fanciness, fancy, medium, casual, right? Because the girl needs to know how to dress. Because I don't tell her
Yes.
anything. I just say 6:30 we leave. Dress this level. Bring
Hmm.
your salsa shoes. We're going Italian. How do you feel about that? And she's like, and she goes get ready, right? She doesn't care where I take her. She knows I'm going to plan something. Like she just like, so I make the plan. I ask her how she feels about the plan. She could adjust it a little bit. Well, if we could go earlier because I don't want to be up late, like whatever, right? Then I'll adjust. But I make the plan. Makes her feel like a girl,
Hmm.
right? It's cherishing and it feels good to somebody. It's flattering to somebody as a man. But I mean, she doesn't get to undo the plan. She doesn't get to tell me we're going to change restaurants. I know what she likes first, right? There's an experience like that, but she doesn't care. She literally just gets giddy and gets in the car and
And
waits
that
for me
is
to
a
take her
masculine
somewhere.
energy.
Boom! It's leadership that puts her in her feminine. And I say
Yes.
this to men: if you want a woman on your arm on a date, make the freaking plan.
Yeah.
Because if you put it on her, where do you want to go? Where do you want to eat? What time do we pick up? Like now you're the bitch. Excuse my French. She's the man. She'll resent it. She's been a man all week. She wants to relax. You put her in a. But men have been raised that that's polite. Women hate it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because you don't want to be toxic and lean on her and so we want to go. That's what doesn't work. Again, it's just so silly, all of it. So, but they pushed into the culture is destroying everything, is making everything difficult.
It
Don't
is.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop listening to that shit.
I agree. And
And
and we women, especially feminine women, are looking for those masculine leader type
yeah,
men.
that's what makes you feel safe.
It
And if
does.
you don't feel safe, you can't be with anybody.
Hmm.
Right? You feel safe with masculine men who provide protection, give, and have sensitivities to not be over the top because testosterone sometimes has us go over the top. Too big, too loud, too controlling. It comes with it. So I have other tools. How do you negotiate them down from there? So for your comfort. It's again a respectful way to ask for adjustment. A guy who loves you will adjust. But if you put your finger in his face and say, I'm sick of this and you got to, it's over.
Hmm.
Women forget they're dealing with warriors. You're going to put your finger in a warrior's face. He's going to push back, right?
Yeah.
You're going to lose, even if you're right, because you're attacking him. Now he has to protect himself from you as opposed to protecting you. And you'll think he's a big jerk and it won't work, right? He's just a knee jerk reaction. He'll defend himself and push you back. That's what doesn't work. That's what we mostly do. So, how do you do it respectfully that he naturally, instinctively wants to respond for your comfort? Because again, when you're good, I'm good. When you're happy, I'm happy. That's all we want. But you put your
Such
finger in my face, we have a problem.
it's true. And such important tools to learn.
Yeah, that's what doesn't work, right? Like not understanding this, and it's nobody teaches that. Nobody teaches
Mhm.
that. Girl,
And
don't
you
take his shit, right? Okay, give that a try. He's
and
a
you work
jerk.
with
Well,
men.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Yeah, you do hear that. And we women speak to other women a lot, and women don't understand men. So
at
that
all.
no. So that
Women
makes it
give the worst advice to the women. Absolutely the worst. I'm like, why? It's like my parents were Catholic and a little bit crazy about it. And give this in the Catholic Church is so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. What when they had marital problems, they would go to the priest. The only guy who has no idea how to do a relationship. Like, do
It's
not go
true.
to a woman to ask you advice about men. She has the same brain, understands the same thing less, and da 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 da. Your girlfriends will give the worst advice. You better off ask a gay guy. He's gonna be closer, right? Or a straight man directly. He'll tell you, but not your girlfriends. Oh, it's infuriating. You know what I mean? Like my parents going to the priest for their marriage. I'm like, the only one guy who knows nothing about.
Doesn't have
He's going
any
to quote
idea.
the Bible and he'll tell you that God will take care of it. If you do it, really, don't ask your girlfriends. They don't know.
That makes sense. And you work with men and women?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Also, I
Okay.
have two gifts for your listeners if you want,
Okay. Yes.
because I'm all about sort of, so like I told you earlier, I do like about 3 podcasts a week to spread the hope, spread the message. There's a way to have healthy relationship in our culture, this modern culture. There's a modern way to do it. It's not. It's traditional with a twist, is what I'm saying. What works naturally, and it's pretty traditional with a modern twist. Anyway, so I notice when I do podcasts, because I'm trying to really bring this to the masses. I used to have my own podcast. There's two types of people I notice that come on podcasts, and we'll let the audience qualify themselves. If some people are information seekers. So these are men and women who are like, well, what's this whole masculine and feminine? I don't know. I keep hearing about it. Like they're trying to poke around at what's going on here, trying to understand what's going on here, right? They're not ready to dive in to do the work. They're just poking in, right? So if you're a poker or information seeker woman, this is for ladies. I have this book that I sell on my website. It's called The 5 Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible. Ladies, this is men speaking. This is my work with men. This is men telling you what they find irresistible, and it's not your butt, and it's not your hair color, it's not your height, it's none of that. It's the energy that you bring, right? It's a workbook. It's 30 pages. You get to fill it out.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? I sell on my website. If you just email me, Andre, Andre, coaching, COACHING, the number 1, Andre Coaching 1 at Gmail. And in the subject box, just write irresistible book. I'll send you a copy, a digital copy. You print it and you play with it. It's really good, ladies. So, and you'll see what I'm up to, what I understand, how men, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's the first gift.
Okay.
Second gift is for the action takers, I want to say. The people who are like you, right? You resonated with some of the things I said, and you're like, oh, I want more, right? This guy knows something, right? So if you want to talk to me directly, AndreCoaching1 at gmail.com. In the subject box, just write talk now. I'll send you my calendar link. You book a call for about an hour, and we'll do a one-on-one like you and I are doing, and kind of decode where you stuck. What's the problem? What's the repeating factor? Always boys, always boys. We can fix that. Go back to childhood. In 15 minutes, I can tell you where the wheels came off. So there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a product of your past. If there's nothing wrong with you, but you twist it a little bit, we could fix it. If we fix it, what's the future? So on that call, that's what I do. And again, if you want to get invested, there's different ways: small, medium, large. Right? Step into the work in different ways. You could tiptoe in, or you could just dive right in, depending on your personality. But that call alone, even if I don't work with the person I offer that gift to, understanding, that they're not broken, that they're just a product of that, liberating, So, Andre Coaching 1, talk now. We'll talk, and I'm on your side. And you could actually if you want both gifts, ask me for both gifts. It's my direct email. You can ask me questions on top of it. You can tell me I'm full of crap, but I'm not. Right? Like lean in, right? Let me help. That's what I'm here for. That's my God talent and gift and mission.
Amazing
So
gifts,
that
Andre. Thank you so much. Yes.
absolutely. It's a fun adventure. Like I'm very fortunate. I have everything, but it took me 25 years of battling to get here, from my childhood to everything else. So I'm just helping people get there faster. I've done it. I understand it. I get it, and it's not that complicated when you decode the whole thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the
My pleasure.
conversation, for all of these just words of wisdom. And I will be getting your book, and I might call you for a conversation.
Yeah, and we could do this again. There's a lot to talk about, but yeah, do both. Absolutely.
Thank you. What great gifts, everyone. So take advantage of that. And Andre, I'm so happy to have you on. Thank you so much again.
My pleasure. Again, you're helping me spread the word. That's what I want to say. Thank you for helping me spread the word.
So important.